Good morning, Wednesday morning. Today is going to be very different. It's now 11:30 a.m. and I'm leaving now. Why? Well, my morning meeting canceled, starting the day late and ending it super duper late. Starting from the end, I'm meeting the CEO of Wix, Avishai Avrahami, an old friend and sort of legend. He's a big legend around here. He's, running a multi-billion-dollar company, public company. Hopefully I'll get to learn something from him. Highly doubt I can get him on camera, but a man can try. Also meeting the CMO of ELAL today, and I-24. And first, now I'm going to Tel Aviv to meet with JJ Sussman, who was on a vlog a couple of weeks ago from Gesher. Used to be at SanDisk, old friend, great guy. It's going to be a fantastic day. It's going to end extremely late. Let's do this. Tel Aviv, 5 minutes to lunch, and I got parking. I love it when that happens. Meeting JJ at Meatos. So take into account for the next 5 minutes or so while we're talking that our brains are at what percent capacity right now?
Very low, very low.
How was that food?
That was tremendous.
That's actually a very good, that's a great adjective for what we just ate. Ridiculous size. Basically, they put a cow on our plate. Okay, so who are you?
JJ Sussman, great to see you again. Hello.
Always
good to see you.
And only. That was a nice surprise the other day. Walking the streets
walking
of Tel Aviv.
right near here.
That's the thing though with Tel Aviv. I say this every day on the vlog. Like, walking down the streets, you bump into like the most random and amazing people in the streets of Tel Aviv.
I think that's what makes Israel so incredible, by the way, people.
I agree. And someone said to me this morning that like in Silicon Valley and other places, with all due respect, like you can't like reach out to like the CEO of a multi-billion-dollar company and say, let's have coffee. You can in Israel.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm having coffee tonight with Avishai, CEO of Wix. Multi-billion-dollar.
Coffee or another cow?
No, we're not gonna do that. I don't think we're meeting at Wix's headquarters. So I don't think we're eating dinner. But the point is, like, the guy's like running a multi-billion-dollar public company, and he has time for a cup of coffee with some random dude like me. All right. Anyway, can we like get to the point here?
Let's get to the point.
Let's jump ahead.
Let's do it.
Give me your background. Where are you from? What's your deal? Talk to me.
I grew up in New York City. I came to Israel to study in yeshiva, served in the army, and decided I needed to live here.
What did you do in the army?
I served in the elite artillery corps.
Oh, I was in artillery also. Do you know that?
No.
I was also in artillery.
Yeah. Avishai.
Nice. Wow, how did we not figure this out before?
I don't know.
Never spoken about that. That's nuts. Okay, very cool. First of all, how long do you know me?
Probably 30 years or something like that. Certainly family.
So. Yeah. Pretty nuts. Nuts. No, it's like your whole. I mean, you have a very big family, so I know all your cousins and whole whatever. All right. So I mean, that's just Jewish geography. We call that. We got to do that. We got to get that in.
But that gets back to the people. It's all about the people.
All about the people. All right. So you've been here in Israel how long?
I've been in Israel over 20 years.
Over 20 years. 21, 22?
Depends how you count. Probably 25.
Me too.
Yeah. So like 25 years.
Awesome. Okay.
In 92 to yeshiva, 3 years, the army. Went back for 2 years, then came back in 97.
Okay. Where did you start your career?
I started at Jerusalem Global with Shlomo Kalish.
Okay, so Shlomo Kalish is, I think it's a fair statement to say that him, along with some other names that you guys have heard of, are kind of like the godfathers of the Israeli VC landscape. He was like one of the first, and we're talking about...
It was the late 90s, about 97. I came back in 97 and started working there.
Medved, and we're talking about, give me some names.
Right, so Israel Seed was already on its the beginning of the second fund. Michael Eisberg had just left to join Israel Seed, Medved, and Neil Cohen. I was at Jerusalem Global for a few years. Arik Kleinstein from Galileo Capital was there with me. Mark Lesnick at Fortissimo was with me.
Mark yesterday.
Mark's
so random.
Great
it's a small ecosystem here.
Mark's a great guy.
I was actually very embarrassed because I was emailing Mark, and for some reason it appeared on my phone M-A-R-K, and it's M-A-R-C.
Yeah.
And he's like my neighbor. I'm like writing an M-A-R-K the whole time. I'm like, oh my god.
Glenn Schwaber, who's at ICV.
I know him.
With Jack Levy. He's partners with Jack Levy and Mayor Euclid.
So you started in the VC space.
We were in a VC then actually. We were raising capital for startup companies in the mid to late 90s, which at the time, the whole VC industry in Israel was really just taking off. So the agency business was a good business to be in, and we were really helping these really startups who didn't have any background in raising capital do so here in Israel and also outside of Israel, the Valley and in New York.
I want to fix this frame a little bit so it doesn't cut off my head. That's much better. Okay, good. Now we look tougher, bigger. Okay.
I'm looking plenty big myself without having to make the camera make me look big.
Yeah. All right, it's also a wide lens. We're going to look bigger anyway, but okay. So
I worked at Jerusalem Global. Then after Jerusalem Global, we started something called Yazam.com. I was there for a little bit, moved to New
Yehuda means entrepreneur in English, by the way.
Moved to New York to open up their New York offices, and then left pretty soon after the move to New York and decided to join Israel Seed Partners. And there again, I was with legends like Alan Feld and John Medved, like you said, Neil Cohn, Fit Taney, who's now at Viola, Michael Eisenberg.
Alan Feld, I believe, is the most underrated investor in this country. Like,
great guy. First of all, great guy. He gets back again to the people.
100%. But like, you have to understand. I mean, you know this, but Alan Feld from Vintage Ventures is a limited partner in literally the world's largest fund. I mean, Excel, Lightspeed, and others that are he doesn't talk about publicly, so I'm not going to speak about it. But he's just a very humble guy. But
I think he's more than humble. I think he's a visionary. I think he was at Vertex before he joined Israel Seed, then in Israel Seed, and recognized the need for what he ended up building into an empire.
That's amazing. Okay, so then after that, well, because I want to get to
after Israel Seed, I got my MBA at the Keller Rekanati executive MBA program, and then after that, I decided to work in business, and I decided to join M Systems, and I worked in M Systems where.
Wait, don't give away the punchline here. M Systems, again, you never heard that name before. What you don't know is, chances are, if you put your hand in your pocket right now, you're using something that M Systems invented. Is that fair statement?
Yeah, a very fair statement. And M Systems was in the flash technology business. They developed the pen drive, thumb drive, USB drive, whatever you decide to call it, Disc-on-Key in Israel.
Yes.
So they invented that, and while I was there, they were acquired by SanDisk.
How much? 2.8 or something?
I think at the time it was $1.6 billion. But there also I interfaced with the likes of Arnon Dinor from 83 North and Dov Moran, of course, and Aryeh Mergi was there.
So Aryeh Mergi also, he's
even Daniel Schreiber was my direct boss there from.
I just talked about Daniel yesterday.
From Lemonade. Moshe Reines, who's now doing at our crowd the.
Wow, awesome. Okay, listen. So Aryeh Mergi is Dov Moran's a very well-known guy. He's kind of the guy. He's kind of like the Steve Jobs of the relationship. Everyone knows him as the guy who invented the thumb drive, and he gets respect. Steve Jobs gets respect, but let's not forget Steve Wozniak, and that is Aryeh Mergi. Aryeh Mergi is like behind the scenes, and he is like a whole. Did you introduce me to him?
I think I probably did.
I love this guy.
The truth is, while I was at M Systems, it's not even when I got to know Aryeh, because, like you said, he was so quiet, and I think he even left while I was there. But it was afterwards when I got involved.
Unbelievable.
Once I left SanDisk, and I ended up working at a startup called ActivePath with Jeff Kubietsky. So that's a company that Aryeh.
Jeff this morning. I kid you not. By the way, I'm not even. I promise you. I said it to him 4 times so far. He mentioned 4 names. I'm like, I spoke to him this morning. I will show you. I'll tell you why I spoke to Jeff Kubietsky this morning, because I asked him to introduce me to a VC called K1, someone that he went to business school with. This morning he emailed me. I kid you not. So, love Jeff.
So ActivePath actually was sold recently, and but that's how I got to know Aryeh. Right? No, so it ended up splitting up to 2 companies. One was ActivePath and one was Power Inbox. So ActivePath was sold, and Power Inbox is still where Jeff is the CEO and doing great.
Then you decided.
And then I decided at a certain point after that, I decided that I wanted to do something to help Israeli society. And as we keep on talking about the value of Israel is really its people, so I recognize that there are tremendous divisions within Israeli society between the religious, the secular, and even the ultra-Orthodox populations here in Israel. And I believe that if we want to advance as a society in a positive way, we need to work on healing some of those rifts and of bringing the people together.
So I'll say this. I love this guy, but we just had this lunch and we debated many of these topics. Not for now, it's a longer debate, but I will say one thing. There is no debate whatsoever. There is no debate that when you have a country that's leading the way in all verticals of technology and in business, and we're a superpower, and yet we're a speck on the map of the most unstable region on planet Earth, and that is despite the strong division in Israeli society. If we are able to unify the Israeli society and join forces, I cannot even imagine what we can do as a society. So I'll give you that. So, all right, is that fair? Is that a fair statement?
It's more than fair, and I think the good news is that when you start meeting with people and talking to people and breaking down the barriers, the organization I work for is Gesher, which literally means bridge.
What's the website?
Gesher.co.il is the Hebrew one, and GesherUSA.org is the English one.
Okay.
But if you start really looking beyond the stereotypes that we all hear about in the press or whatever the case may be, and meeting with the people and talking to the people, you find the reasons to be optimistic in this.
So just to dumb this down, we have to end soon because it's getting too long and I get in trouble with my editor, but just to dumb this down, like whoever you are that's watching this right now, if I say to you, or if I show you a picture of, let's call it an ultra-Orthodox Jew with the payas and the black, and you automatically, whether you know it or not, have associations, you have connotations in your head. And if you show another person, a secular Israeli with like piercings, and again, connotations. Those connotations cause, this division. And in reality, those 2 people that I just named, in theory, are so different, but if you actually break it down, they're 98% similar.
I think that's exactly it. I think that's what Gesher's 3 goals are. First, to create the space for the dialogue for those 2 people to talk, then to shift their attitudes about the other, but ultimately, and here's where it gets really interesting, is to create actionable behaviors on the ground, or programming or projects, which really bring the 2 together and ultimately break down those barriers.
Okay. So the bottom line is it's obviously a worthy cause. Again, we can debate certain issues, certain topics, and that's a healthy debate. It's obviously an important cause. If you're watching this and you are watching this, what do you mean if you're watching?
You have an English-speaking audience as well, I know. So just very briefly before we complete this interview, one of the areas where we've expanded at Gesher recently is the relationship between Israel and Jews outside of Israel, what's referred to as diaspora Jewry or world Jewry.
Yeah.
As we know, when we've heard about, there's been slightly a widening rift between the two largest Jewish communities in the world, in the U.S. and in Israel, and that's something we've spent a lot of time over the last 2 years educating Israelis about the importance and the vibrancy of Judaism outside of Israel.
I love it, but I have to say one more thing before we end this. I have to end this. I'm not even kidding. This is real-time event. So I don't know how many, probably maybe a year ago or a little bit more, you introduced me to a guy named Peter Harris.
Yeah.
Many intros you've made for me over the years.
Through, if we're already talking about hat tips, through Donnie first.
He introduced you to him?
He's my sister-in-law's brother, and he works with the company where Peter Harris works. So
Okay, so Peter Harris is the chief customer
He asked me to
officer.
set up, just very briefly, he asked me to set up a slew of meetings for him over a day and a half in Israel with people who will get him to know what's going on in the Israeli high-tech scene. The first name that popped into my head, of course, was you.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. And who is Peter Harris? The chief customer officer of the Volkswagen Group. Volkswagen Group, like we said in the past, is Audi and Porsche and Skoda and Bugatti, everyone. They're all Lamborghini, and they're all there. Peter Harris is the decision maker. He introduced me to him, I don't know how long ago. We've met several times since then. I met his team there. I want you to see the message that I just got in real time. This just happened. I just got this message. Shai Magzimov, the CEO of Phantom Auto. I just wrote him this morning and I wrote to him, introducing you to Peter. He said, I'm in meetings with another car manufacturer. I'm not going to say who right now. I said, I wrote, he's your guy. And he said, I'll let you know how it went after we meet. He's going to meet Peter. I just went up, but here's the thing, right? You made somebody asked you to make an introduction. You introduced me. This might lead to a multi hundreds of millions of dollars deal. You know, the ripples of just helping others win. You know, you didn't gain anything from that introduction. There was nothing in it for you. You just created ripples that might lead to massive success, both for the startup and for the Volkswagen Group,
and for Israel.
And for Israel, it's an important lesson that I always talk about. But this just happened. As I'm sitting here, we're talking about Gesher. I get this message from Shai Magzimov, the CEO of Phantom Auto, saying to me, "Boom! This intro, I'm going to go meet Peter Harris." And the reason I was able to introduce him to Peter Harris is because he introduced me to Peter Harris.
I'm happy I was able to do my little part to continue that. Great to see you.
We shouldn't wait like another 7 years to have lunch.
Maybe we should just digest what we just ate together.
Yeah, I'm just saying the burn rate of Gesher every time we go out. I was like, so next time on me. But listen, man, always a pleasure, and keep doing what you're doing. I love the fact that you kind of not gave up on business, but you wanted
No,
to
definitely didn't give up. I have a lot of.
You wanted to satisfy your soul. I love it. So keep doing what you're doing, and of course, anything beyond the things that we talked about, if anything else pops into your head that I can help with, you let me know. And we have a guest. What's the word when you have a guest appearance? What's a cameo?
Cameo appearance by
the cameo appearance by the one, the only,
the amazing the people you run into on the streets
best
of Tel Aviv.
looking tech lawyer in this country. You've heard me talk about him before because he introduced me to Parkham, where I was last week.
Spiro and I have had a business relationship in the past as well.
It's a little posting that I watching the magic happen. Finished a meeting in Tel Aviv and found Hill folding JJ Sussman.
I love it.
And he said,
Wait, is that a flattering picture? No, listen,
Yeah.
so this guy right here, SpiroLaw.com. SpiroLaw.com.
With an
he
E.
was
SBERO.
SPERO.com. SPERLaw.com. This guy was a partner at one of the biggest firms in this country, Priorities. He's like, I need more time with my kids. He gave up on fame and fortune, started his own firm, and now fame and fortune came after him.
I mean,
It's scaling, right?
it can always be more fortunate.
It's scaling though. So we all, yes, you're in. It's a wide lens. We're all in.
We all hope that some of your clients have significant exits as well.
Yes. So Israel Spiro, we were inseparable as kids. Grew up together since 6th grade. You guys slapping 5 over my head. It's all great. Bottom line is, if you are in the business world, you need a commercial lawyer, you need anything, SpiroLaw.com. Hook this guy. He's like the man himself. Dude, I gotta get out of here. I'm going on live TV in a half an hour. Later, folks. I am so ridiculously late to I-24. I am actually kind of nervous I'm not gonna make it, which would seriously stink, because they made my slot earlier today so that I can make my meeting at ELAL. So I'm going live at 3:10. It's now 2:40. I'm at least a 20-minute drive. Pray for me. Made it to Jaffa. 8 minutes till I go live, and I am at least a 6-minute walk to the studio. Thank God there's a breeze here today, though. 3 topics today are Facebook and Twitter at it again. Pulse, an Israeli startup that does in-house repairs for like your phone and all kinds of gadgets, raising $50 million. And Huawei passing Apple as the second most successful phone manufacturer in terms of sales in the world. So those are the 3 topics. I should really run. I'm gonna do that. In the air-conditioned room, going in 2 minutes. I made it, but I'm so sweaty right now. It's so hot out there. Low energy here today. What's going on here? Up the energy, please.
Hello, Fold's favorite smartphone maker is taking a bite out of the Big Apple. More on this and other tech news. Hillel in the house with his favorite phone right here.
It's true. That was very well played, by the way. I appreciate that intro. That was great.
Your favorite, Huawei. I said it right.
All right.
Huawei.
Took me a couple of years. Very good. So yes, Huawei. We talking about Huawei now?
Yeah, we're talking about Huawei.
They just surpassed Apple as the second most successful phone manufacturer. They sell more phones than Apple after Samsung. And it really is a phenomenal company for a whole bunch of reasons. First of all, they're basically banned in the U.S. The CIA, FBI, they're spying. We've talked about this in the past. There's no real evidence that they're spying. All I know is, and I showed you this before, this is the P20 Pro, the Huawei top-of-the-line phone right now. It is, higher specs than any phone. This is the iPhone 10. I mean, this thing takes, I think it's altogether 70 megapixels.
Right, and how much is the iPhone 10?
It's like 12 or 15 or something.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, I mean, there's
That's
3 cameras there in the back. It's crazy. I mean, we're not here to talk about this specific device, but Huawei as a phone manufacturer, they have a whole line of phones, from top-of-the-line flagships to super affordable phones, and they're ripping it up. They're killing the market. I mean, Apple's, kind of getting worried. They should be. You can order a cab on your phone in 3 seconds. You can order, delivery of food in 12 seconds. And yet, when you want to fix your phone, you have to go to the Apple store in New York.
I have to wait a year to go to New York to go to the Apple store.
So this phone, this startup, well, not a start. I guess they're a late stage startup at this point already, called Pulse, an Israeli company. Just announced another $50 million in financing. They have the biggest names behind them, including Sequoia and Samsung Next and a whole bunch of others. And it's basically any day of the week, within an hour, you have someone in your house, a technician, to fix your product. And they're signing deals with the biggest
in every city
in the world. I mean, there's this whole automation thing. Like, you could post something on LinkedIn and it will automatically tweet it for you. You post it on Facebook. I guess both sides didn't like it very much. It's not really clear which one took the first step, but either way, Facebook shut it down, then Twitter shut it down, or Twitter shut it down, Facebook shut it down. Right now, Facebook deleted all the cross-posting of tweets to Facebook. So anybody who tweeted something and automatically had it post to Facebook, deleted off of Facebook. People start to look for their old posts, and they just weren't there. And imagine, you post something on Facebook, forget the actual post, the comments and the discussion in the comments, gone. So people are like, what's going on here? So people, Twitter and Facebook are looking into it.
It's a competition thing and wanting to keep proprietary.
I think it will probably be fixed. I think it's probably a bug, but at the end of the day, it's an underlying battle between these giants.
And enough people are going to complain that they're going to have to do something.
We shall see.
All right, thank you. Enjoy your phone.
Thanks. Okay, that was fun. Good stuff. See you next week. Out into the scalding heat, to the sauna. Bye, Emily. Bye. Off to ELAL right now to meet the CMO of ELAL and talk marketing. It is a very, very long ride, and I think the meeting starts in 40 minutes, and it's at least a 35-minute drive. So once again, pray for me. Made it to ELAL. It's literally 4 o'clock right now. Meeting starts now. I just have to find her office. Meeting the CMO to talk, I don't know, I guess strategy of marketing for ELAL. This is like the 4th or 5th meeting here. It's a topic for another time, but I really like ELAL. They have many challenges, but I like the people here. I like the airline, despite the challenges. I'm just here to help. Just gotta find her office. Found her office. I'm going to be 3 minutes late. That is borderline miraculous. The amount of just really good luck I had on the way here, finding parking and everything else, miraculous. Fantastic meeting. There was zero chance I was getting her on camera. I did try, but next time. Now heading over to Wix headquarters to meet with Avishai Avrahami. That company is incredible. Avishai is no less incredible. Very excited. This is a meeting that is years in the works, literally. I love that this multi-billion-dollar company has the most chill offices ever. Anyway, he's running a bit late. Again, miracles that I was able to find parking here. But hopefully I'll be starting the meeting with Avishai in a couple of minutes. The way we met, Avishai and myself, is one of the funniest stories. But maybe I'll tell it afterwards. Hopefully he'll be coming to get me in a minute or two. This is a meeting, as far as I'm concerned, that took 5 years.
That's probably true.
Probably more.
Yeah.
So we originally met. It's actually funny. This is Avishai Avrahami, the CEO of this rocket ship called Wix. We originally met at a hotel called Breshit, which I think is one of the nicest hotels in Israel. Why? Because at the time, Magma Ventures had us both speaking there, and I got up there and I said, guys, not everything needs to be measured. You have to get people to care about your brand, not measure everything. And he got up right after me. He's like, if you're not measuring, you're not marketing. And that's how we met. We became friends. That was a very funny story. But anyway.
You're also not doing product.
If you're not measuring. Product, I agree.
You need measuring in marketing and in product.
I agree. But okay.
And in support. And in technical stuff.
All I have to say is
measure
everything.
Everything.
So I would never argue with you, but you know, I'm not as extreme as you. I think there's certain things that you cannot quantify, but not for now. It's a different topic for another time.
All right.
Next time. All right. So let me just get some context here. I mean, everybody knows Wix.com, and if they didn't, they do now because the Super Bowl last was 2 years ago. You guys are obviously a complete beast, complete rocket ship, wild. Just give me a little bit of context here. How big is this company? Give me some numbers here. Whatever you can talk about, obviously.
So I think that we're about 140 million users. We had 4 million paying users.
That's wild.
We have about 2,600 people working now at Wix. So it's starting to be big.
Starting to be big. Listen, to me, what's really interesting is that it's a public company. You're running, there's probably 80,000 challenges that you meet on a daily basis. But I love the fact that number one, you talk about the challenge being managing the people. It's all about the people. And I also love the fact, and again, if I don't know if you want this information out there. If not, I'll just cut it. But that you don't check the stock every day.
I actually don't check the stock pretty much any.
How you?
Because every time there's a big movement, so many people will send me something on WhatsApp. And so I know that if something. So every couple of months I get Anyway, we don't have control on the stock on the short term, right? It's like I have no influence in that, right?
Unbelievable.
The influence is how we think about the company going forward, how we think about the company growing, how we make our products better, how we focus on delivering them to more people.
Is it safe to say that if I'm building a website today, Wix is a market, not just leader, dominator?
I think that for almost everything, it's pretty much true.
Dominate the internet. You dominate.
Yeah, I think we have fair competition with Shopify on e-commerce.
Right.
And I think Medium is a really good platform for blogging.
Right.
Right. But if you look at the majority of the things that people build website for, I think we are by far the leader today. So with those maybe two exceptions.
Incredible. Listen, I promise you a 2-minute thing. We're already at 2 minutes and 50 seconds. So I'm gonna end here. But all I have to say is, dude, honestly, just keep kicking butt. I told you, it makes me proud. Really, as an Israeli, you guys are a rocket ship public company, and I interviewed Mark Andreessen, and he said to me publicly, he's like, you guys sell too early. Israeli companies sell too early. And I feel like you, among a few others, Mobileye and a few others, are starting to disprove that theory and say, look, there are companies that could build sustainable, public, large businesses.
I think a lot of it comes to the credit that a lot of changes are happening in the legal,
right.
in the VC majority of Israel.
Like it.
Right, that they allow companies to go the extra yard, right? Because there's a lot of infrastructure that you need to be able to do that, right? And a lot of it is changing today. I'll give you one example. If you want to have a foreign employee come to work in Israel, in the past it used to be a nightmare to get the approval. Today you can do it in a week.
Oh, really?
It takes a week.
That's really happy. I'm happy to hear that.
And so all the small things, I don't think about it, right?
Michael talks about that. Michael's an investor here, Luxembourg?
Yes.
So he talks about that often. He says it's still not easy enough. It should be easier than it is now.
It's easier than it used to, but there's a lot of place to improve, right? And the way you run a board, manage a company, a lot of those things, the legislation is actually being the ability of VCs to let you run all the way. We were very lucky that our VCs are not Israeli. And so it Bessemer benchmark from the West Coast, right, Inside Ventures, and of course Mangrove, and they were an enabler in us to...
Those are incredible VCs. You don't get better than that. Anyway, listen, Avishai, like I said, we're way over time here. Super duper appreciate your time. I mean, that's your philosophy, as you told me many, many stories. I think on a smaller scale, I want to be you when I grow up. But on a smaller scale, I emulate, just try to do good for others, and you've done it, and you've built a rocket ship, so it's amazing to watch.
Thank you.
But take me up on my offer. If there's anything I can do to help you, anything, just anything, literally.
I will do that. And hey, guys, Wix is the best place to build a professional website today.
Are you kidding me? Go to Wix.com. We're going to
best place to build a professional website on the internet.
Thank you so much for your time, man. I really appreciate it. Mind blown. See you tomorrow.